Okay, so we're back with episode 3 of PuckPod by BD Sports. Obviously, I'm Brian. I'm here with Christian, David. How are you guys this week?
Pretty good. It always helps when your teams are winning.
Oh, shut up.
Right now the
Okay,
right now the
continue.
Bills are on too. So I'm gonna keep like an eye on that. Hopefully they pull through against the Chiefs. I think it's tied at like right now. This is at about 7 o'clock. So we'll see in about half an hour or so if I wanna. No, I'm not gonna even go into that. So, Christian, how are you doing, man?
Doing good, Dave. Yeah, no, football wise, I'm casual at best. Um, I'll see what the bill score is at some point tonight, but yeah, football for me only for betting purposes so far. Um, and I've been on reading week. I'm sure other university college students they might also have been on reading week. So honestly, it kind of flew by for me. It didn't really feel like a reading week. That's also because I didn't study until after this podcast. That's when I'm going to start my studying. So that's part of it as well. And like Dave said, it's just good to have hockey back on, actual meaningful hockey games. And also part of the reason my week kind of flew by.
Dave, how's your dad?
Oh, he's good actually. So he came home yesterday. So he's been home now for about 24 hours. It's tough like going up and down the stairs. I've been doing a lot of like the heavier lifting with him, like helping him out. But he's starting to get his strength back now, and now it's just the road to recovery. About a month or so. So hopefully he'll keep progressing over the next few weeks.
Best wishes to him, of course. All right, guys. You guys can say whatever you want. You guys beat us. You guys have anything? You guys have any salt to rub in the wound?
Do you want us to start off with the first game of the season, Bry?
If you want, but if you have any backhanded comments at me, take them now.
I mean, I guess the best I could say is your power play is looking a lot more lackluster than it has been in the past over the past like 10 years. I would say this might. I don't know if I could like if we could back this up with any stats, but
Oh no, I'm not talking about
easily
stats.
like
I'm talking about comments. If you want to insult me or anything like that.
no. Well, I'll say it right now. Like I don't know, this might actually be like one of the worst starts for your power play that I've seen in
Oh
recent
yes.
years.
Yep. Yep.
Right? I don't
Yep.
know if like we
Oh,
we don't probably don't have any stats for that, but
I do,
you know,
and we'll move
do you
on.
actually?
I do. I do. It's in my article. Well, they're a little bit outdated, but we'll just start with you guys can talk about your game one. Talk about the game one versus. You guys had the Habs game one, right?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, take it away, boys.
So Christian, Wednesday night we had big original six rivalry started like we started up again with that big rivalry right against the Habs. I guess I'll say a couple of things like I know a lot of people had comments on the intros and stuff. Man, that thing took about 30 minutes too long. Like the game, I think puck drop was about 7:45. It was supposed to be at like I would say intros and everything. Puck drop should be if it's a 7 o'clock start, first game of the season, 7:15. The game should be started. It should
I agree.
not be 7:45. Um, One big thing like that was a cause of that was bringing out all the scratches like one after another. Like I know we'll contrast this. Like I was at the home opener for the Leafs the day after, and like they had all the scratches on the bench. You line them up one by one. Support staff, medical staff, the training staff. You got to bump them out. Like, come on, guys. Like, I get it. You want to give a little bit more appreciation, and I completely understand. I completely understand it, but like it was like almost a full 2 or 3 minutes between scratches being like introduced and like walking out. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that, Christian?
No, I agree on all fronts. Like you said, contrasting with the Leafs home opener there, it just flew by. Like they already had everybody lined up. It just not that I felt more prepared, but obviously a lot more condensed. And the product is the game. I understand the intros, start of the season, all that good stuff. But the suggestion that I've heard that I've liked the best is when you have these long ceremonies instead of starting it when we advertise puck drop for 7 o'clock, get it started earlier for the fans in the arena, right? So if you're in the arena, you get that experience, and we can even just get the broadcast to give us like the Carey Price moment. Let's say in that game, they started this ceremony at 6:45, and we get to tune in as the healthy scratches are being announced. And our first experience into the broadcast is Carey Price standing ovation. That would have been awesome too, right? So we could have skipped some of the fluff that way. But I'm sure the Habs have heard everyone's voices. I'm interested. I'm not too sure what Habs fans actually think about this, if they're more on the defensive or not. But that it would be interesting to see what they think. But I think most opinions I've heard from non-Habs related sources have been, yeah, it was too long. So,
and I get it. With you brought up Carey Price, we also saw a return or an intro of sorts at the Leaf game as well, with Rodion Amirov being on the bench, which
That's different,
like in
though.
the stadium,
Good for him, right? Good for him.
Honestly, good for both of them. Like 100%,
yes.
you don't want to lose the that appeal, that like
it was a moment.
Those are big emotional moments for both fan bases. Dealing with different things, but for the fans in the stadium, it probably means a lot more, because you could actually feel the emotion than maybe a casual viewer watching on thing. Granted, Carey Price was the face of the franchise for so many years, and all fairness to Rodion Amirov, he's not that. Maybe not just yet. Maybe he won't, but it was still a very difficult situation to what he's going through. And a lot of casuals, I also feel like didn't even really couldn't even grasp the situation with Amirov, because that story kind of went a little bit under the radar, just because he wasn't an established player. With Carey Price, on the other hand, that's your former Hart winning goalie there. That's your former Vezina winning goalie. Probably the best one of the best goalies of the 2010s, at least.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely a shoo-in there.
Even for us, after our win against Montreal, we had Wilson Backstrom in the locker room with the boys. They showed a clip of them giving away this new team award or whatever, this internal thing. It was amazing, because these are guys that are just core members of the team. Just having them around, getting to see their friendly faces again, it's pretty awesome. I can definitely see both of them too staying with the org after their careers are done. Hopefully they get to extend a little bit longer. But yeah, going back on topic, finish up with your game, boys.
So we didn't even get into the game yet.
That's true.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, we got honestly on this podcast, all 3 episodes, I think we've gotten into the advertising business stuff as much as the actual hockey stuff, which I didn't expect, but I like it. I hope people listening like it as well. There's some nuance to it, but it's good. It's good talk. So the game itself, obviously NHL debut for Slavkovsky. Didn't notice him too much. I know there was one highlight. He was up against Tavares, and he was breaking out of his zone. It was one play where he just had a nice little fake pass, quickly got past Tavares, and then made his way up the ice. That's kind of the only moment I remember from him. On the Leafs end of things, I'm not going to rehash it too much, just because that was on Wednesday, but general sentiment from the fan base, I think, is that was an all too familiar feeling game for our liking. We made a bunch of additions, changed the kind of the DNA of the bottom 6, brought in obviously 2 new goaltenders, but it felt the same. So obviously that wasn't good for signs there. We know that Muzzin Hall didn't really have a good game as well. Malgin was pretty good in that game. Murray started strong, faded late. If as all questions go in Leafland, it just relates to the playoffs. And if I'm asking myself, was that performance good enough for the playoffs? It's obviously no. But now he's got an injury. We'll get into that later. It's tough to make a full opinion on Matt Murray yet. So in terms of game 1, yeah, it obviously wasn't a good one, but it was good to see them bounce back from there. Dave, you got anything?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway I'll take from that game 1, that I feel over the course of the week, up until now, up until yesterday's game, that got significantly as the week went on, that game went like it was significantly less important as the week went on.
Yeah,
Like just different stories was happening and was popping up. Um, but the sloppiness in that first game, especially from the passes just weren't crisp, which can be expected. It's the first meaningful game, but it's also now for the core. That core four, it's season 6 now, guys. Like if you can't expect the first game of the season, especially against the Habs who you played in the playoffs, so kind of like that's like it's in their DNA. Like everybody knows it's Leafs Habs. There's a rivalry as much as for the past 30 years. Maybe it hasn't been as predominant as maybe it was 50 years ago when the Leafs were winning cups. But you've
the
got
good
to get up
days.
for those the good old days. You've got to get up for those games. Games against the Habs, against Ottawa, against Boston. Those three in particular off the top of my head, you have to get up for those games because the opponents are always going to be getting up for the games against the Leafs, right? And we've seen it countless times, Christian. Like,
I
how many times they did not look good. In particular, that you mentioned it before, Christian. That Muzzin Hall pairing. Oof, man! If it's gonna be 82 games of that, I'll say one more thing, Brian, before you can interject. Even though last night Hall and Muzzin actually had better games, I noticed at the beginning they did start off pretty slow. Um, maybe if it was another team that wasn't Ottawa, who's kind of trying to grow chemistry right now, you could tell their passes were a little bit off. They're trying to formulate that chemistry still. If that was a team that maybe had a little bit more firepower, I think there could have been a lot more damage done. So I'll give credit to Samsonov, who's played pretty well in his appearances so far. I'll give him some credit there for kind of holding the fort throughout. But that's just really my biggest takeaway from the Montreal game, especially was the sloppiness.
I actually did watch the last 10 minutes of the Montreal game. My bad, you guys. I kind of jinxed you guys. But what I can say is that it, like the way they played you guys in the last 10 minutes of the third, relative to how they played us in the game that we faced, was like night and day. They looked good against you guys, not in the sense that they were destroying you guys or anything, but they just worked harder. Like they were faster. The rotations, their counterattacks were just crisper relative to when they played us. They kind of were slowed down a bit. Against you guys, they actually looked like a threat. Like
It goes to exactly what Dave said. The Montreal environment, the Montreal players thrive off of that energy, and they can get up for those historically relevant games. I don't know what the Habs Caps rivalry is like these days, but
that.
probably not like the Leafs Habs history, right? So yeah, dead. Okay, perfect. But talking about Habs Caps, let's talk about Leafs Caps. And Brian, start it off. What do you got to say? Because we'll concede the first thoughts to you. I'm sure you've got a ton.
Um, yeah, not a good first two games against Boston and Toronto. Not at all. Like terrible. Pasternak destroyed us game one. That's all I have to say about game one. Game two, oh, and Krejci, good for him coming back. It's been a year out of
Real
the
quick,
league.
Brian. Real quick.
He's been
What was the thing about this year? Oh, no, not before this year. About like Caps and Bruins. What was that record? One team was destroying the other for like the past 10 years. Who
oh
was it?
yeah,
Was it you guys on the good end or
for the past 10 years we destroyed them. I don't think they beat us for a good
okay?
3 years, like legitimately.
Okay.
It was like 18-2 in the past, maybe since 20. Before we lost them to the playoffs, we were like legitimately 18-2 against them. I don't like it felt like every time we would walk into their building, we'd just run away with the games and stuff. Then we lost to them in the playoffs, and now it looks like we can't beat them. I don't know what it is.
It's going the other way now, right?
I'd say so. It's
Yeah.
it's not like one-sided. Like we're not getting slashed 8-2 every night, but they're taking points off us. They're beating us, and it kind of sucks. I mean, this is a team that we've had their number for years. Now it's like kind of becoming another Pittsburgh situation in the past little bit, and especially the playoff loss. Like that was not a good look for us. You know what? Even last year against Florida, not a good look. Ever since we won the cup, we just haven't looked good in the playoffs. to say the least. But anyway, that's another story. In regards to um, Leafs Caps, our power play looks terrible, terrible, terrible. I did write an article about this. I don't know why. I have no idea why Strom is playing on the bumper. Just doesn't look good. And then he's transitioning to play as a screen. If you want to use a screen, we have Anthony Mantha, who's like 6'4", and it screens much better than Strom. And then Oshie in the high slot. The whole point of Oshie is that he can tip the puck, and then not giving him a chance to do that at the point at that by putting him in the high slot. In the low slot, at least he can get dirty, get rebounds, tip pucks in. But in the high slot, all he's used is like as an interception or a pass to Ovechkin or a dummy play, I guess. Well, for a lack of a better terms. I don't know what Blaine Forsythe's thinking. And if you guys read my article, you guys can see that I do have suggestions. Against Montreal, we did take Kuznetsov off PP1. We put Johansson there. Looked okay. I don't know if that's the right idea. I think the best passer should be on the first power play unit. But yeah, and then I got off topic there. But going back to the Leafs Caps, I'm good for Samsonov, I guess. Kind of hurts that he's not winning with us, but at least he has a new home.
Well, but Brian, I don't think that was fully off topic. So I was at the game, and I noticed it as well. Like, and I mentioned it off the top here. Like, they just I don't know, for whatever reason, they just didn't look in sync for most of it. Listen, as a Leaf fan at the game watching it, I felt like Washington probably snuck away with a couple extra calls than maybe they should have. But that was, I think they had 5 attempts or at least 4 attempts on the power play, and every single time it was like they just couldn't muster anything. They couldn't get any shots going. I know Ovi had a couple shot blocks. I saw Justin Hall like quite literally dive right in front of a Ovi slap shot, and I was like, you know what? For as much stuff as Leaf Nation gives him, I don't think anybody in their right mind would do that except for him. So I'll give him some kudos there. But it just looked really out of sync.
Going back to our power play, sorry guys. Dylan Strome, his legitimate best asset is his shot. He can't shoot from behind the net. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm crazy or something.
Not the Michigan in him, man.
I was just about to say.
I don't see him doing that anytime soon. You gotta.
Tell him to start training with Trevor Zegras. See what happens.
maybe, man. But Zegras doesn't do it on, like. I don't know, man. It just makes me upset because we have legitimately one of the most lethal power plays in the league if it's firing on all cylinders. But it hasn't been firing on all cylinders in years, man. It looks good when Ovechkin scores, obviously. Highlight reel plays. Everybody knows what he's gonna do. But if he's not doing it, it looks like that. And you guys got a good taste of how it looked. Tough one. But yeah,
Bri, do you think like now all these years of Ovi being in his famous spot on the that would be the
left flank there,
the left hash marks there? Do you think all these years of him just absolutely like of teams like transitioning their penalty kills, especially against the Caps, who kind of expect what's coming? Do you think that's like a big reason to why you're kind of now seeing a bit of a decline from that power play? Like, is it just an over reliance?
I don't, because when Backstrom's quarterbacking the power play, Kuznetsov is playing the bumper. It's different, right? Because you don't know what Kuznetsov can do. You don't know where he's going. Oshie's in the low slot, so he's able to deflect pucks or even can play as a front post and shoot from that spot. Carlson likes to shoot too. You guys got to remember that's a weapon that we have back there. And then Ovechkin, obviously. But the deadly thing that we used to do was Ovi and Carlson would switch. Like, they would do like this little transition thing where like one shifts, Ovechkin shifts the point, Carlson shifts to the hash marks, and then our numbers would go up from that point on because it's just different, right? You have a new point of attack that's different that you have to cover, and it throws teams off. We haven't done that since Backstrom got hurt and since Kuznetsov started power playing it. Started quarterbacking the power play.
It basically sounds like you guys kind of have like an imbalance of playmaking versus scoring threats on the PP1 right now, right? Because let's name the guys. You got Carlson, Ovechkin. You said Oshie is playing PP1 as well, right? So those three are all there. Those are your shooters, or at least in Oshie's spot, he's not necessarily a playmaker in front of the net there. You've got. You said you don't have Kuzi right now on PP1,
Well, right now it's
or
Johansson, but like,
Johansson. Okay,
but the
yeah.
thing is, like,
It just sounds like there's an imbalance there. And then you said Strom as well, right? So you've got a bunch of scoring threats, but it doesn't mean much if someone isn't there doing the playmaking.
what I think that if Blaine Forsyth wants to play with the screen, if that's what he absolutely needs to do, you keep Kuznetsov on the quarterback. You put Manta where Strom is as a screen, because if that's what you want to do with the screen, like, I guess that's what you have to do. But I don't like having Oshie in the high slot. I like him low slot, and I like Kuznetsov on the bumper, and then we could put Johansson as the quarterback if we have to, right? Or we can.
For me,
Hmm?
Go on. No, go on.
Or what we can do is we can have Strom on the shoot, like on the on Ovechkin on
The
both
right
walls.
flank.
Yeah, and then we can have dual shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Kuznetsov could handle the puck from behind the net if we have to on the bumper, but that's just weird.
For me, the pinnacle of power plays in the NHL, like the two teams that I go to, other than the Leafs have obviously been up there the past probably half decade. Honestly, we've been probably top 10. But the other two teams that I look at are Boston and Edmonton. Boston's got that lethal little play where they start on a flank, so it'll be like Pasternak, like a fake shot. They'll have someone at net front, or they'll have someone behind the net, and it's that tic tac toe play that they make really quick. Same thing in Edmonton, McDavid, Draisaitl. It's where they're thinking one play ahead. I feel like I've seen it from Washington too, where you'll have Backstrom on a flank, Kuzi will play. I've seen Kuzi play like behind the net, right?
Yep.
Or was it Oshie behind the net?
It was
okay, yeah, where they make that.
And right to Oshie.
Yeah, they make that high to low to high play, right? Yeah, that's when you have that going. That's the key. And like I said, I feel like I've seen that from Washington. You guys gotta figure out how to get back to that. I feel.
But it's not going to be Strom that's going to be making that quick behind the net pass.
No,
you know,
you're right.
Strom's going to be better in front of the net if that's what you want to do. But then that shoots up that changes up the handness, like of Oshie, and then Oshie, like, where are you going to put him? The guy's an elite player in front of the net. It just. Like, why are you playing a high slot right now? And if he doesn't have access to the low slot, that play doesn't happen.
This is what I think, Brian. I think the answer here is actually, you know what, maybe your power play was fine. It was actually Samsonov that was the reason you guys weren't scoring, okay? Or Samsonov, I should say, because he changed it. I think that's the story here. I'm kidding, but I don't. We've gotten really far deep into the Caps power play.
Yeah, let's move on.
Just giving a little bit of our thoughts.
We promised was only going to take like
2 minutes.
Just a couple of minutes. But you know what, Brian?
It should take as long as a full Caps power play.
Yeah, you should. We suck. Now I know how it feels, guys. Oh man, I
feel bad though, Brian. Just because it's like sometimes it's like me and Christian will go off on like the Leafs talk, and then it's like,
no, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm here, and then we actually got like, you know, to see like to get that within like this is our third podcast. I didn't think we'd get a Leaf, like how like fortuitous it is like for us to get a Leaf Cap game within 2 games, right? Like the home opener was against the Cap, so like that was pretty fortuitous luck.
I've watched more like Leafs this week than I have in like 2 seasons, because obviously we played you guys and I watched like the last 10 minutes of the Montreal game, right? And I even watched a bit of the Ottawa game too. But like, I don't know. In regards to this,
how did you watch that, Brian, on Fubo?
Oh yeah, I did watch it on Fubo. If you want to check out Fubo, A Hockey Night in Canada, Fubo TV has access to CBC, and you can tune into Hockey Night in Canada on Fubo TV. Please use our link when signing up. Okay,
that'll be somewhere in the video. It'll be somewhere over here.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be like down below.
Anyway,
Dave, what are your thoughts from actually there in person, like actual game related thoughts, Leaf wise?
Okay. First thing I have to say about their present the introduction. So we're gonna go back to introductions here. Wow, was that a lifeless library of a building? Oh, it infuriates me to like we have all this talent on display, and it felt like I was the only one. Okay, I'll granted the person sitting in front of me she was going crazy. So hats off to her. If this person ends up ever listening to our podcast, I commend you because everybody in our section was golf clapping. When Austin Matthews comes out, who's a 60 goal, heart winning
Oh my God, here
player,
we go.
you should take those towels and start waving them up in the air.
You
Nobody
should
was
start
doing
flying
it.
out of your seat like a helicopter,
Yeah,
man. Okay.
come on, guys.
Yeah.
This is legitimately the most talented Leafs iteration this city has ever seen. There's no hyperbole here. Playoff success or not, in terms of actual hockey talent, there was never a team better than this. I'm not going to go back to the 60s when there was only 6 teams in the league. I can't attest for that. But we have video from I would say the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. There was no team that was as talented as this Leaf team is. You guys should be going bananas. This is what we've been asking for as long as I was I'm 22 years old. All three of us are 22 years old. We've not seen this type of talent in Toronto until 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Why are we going insane? I mean, there's a big reason for it, and I think we kind of all know or at least me and Christian do, those suits that take up the lower bowl, man. The stadium wasn't even full, I would say, until puck drop started. You know what I mean? I don't get it. There's no amount of,
Dave.
we could change the goal songs as much as we want. We could, do whatever. It's never going to change the inside of that building until, I don't know,
Dave,
God forbid we get a Stanley Cup. Sorry, I was just going off on a tangent there.
Dave, compare Jays this season to what you experienced on Thursday.
Okay, so I went to the Jays' last home game of the regular season, so just before they went into the playoffs, where they were, not even going to go get into that. No previous drama. Tough. But anytime the Jays would get a hit, if you were witness to an Alek Manoah pitching show and he would get strikeouts, the whole stadium would light up every time a third strike was called. It's clearly not the city. It's clearly the type of personnel that are going to each game, right? And as much as I love the Leafs are at points a soulless commercial machine, which draws the envy of a lot of other teams. I bet you if we were watching the Sens opening night game, we would find that I know that the Sens fans, for as much stuff as they had to deal with in the past with their owners, they are a very, very loud and rambunctious fan base.
This word right there, rambunctious.
Yeah, new word of the week, guys.
I read it.
Sorry, I'm just going off on the tangent. And you've said it before, Christian, too. It's a terrible. It's just not a great vibe all the time down there.
Here's my take. And it's, well, I don't know. I don't think it's a new take, honestly, because this phenomenon that we're talking about, the Leafs library, isn't new. It goes back, I don't know, probably to the beginning of the ACC. I would think, honestly, maybe since the end of the Sundin era, actually, I'd say. And yeah, the financial climates, the cost to get an ass in a seat in Scotiabank Arena is highest in the league. So that's the first problem that we've outlined. That's the idea of you have a certain demographic of people, especially in the lower bowl, all that good stuff. But I also feel like this is probably not a good take, but Leaf fans are very informed fans, very emotional fans, very tense fans. And even when I go to a game, trust me, I'm absolutely cheering for big plays, beautiful plays, but playmaking, goals, big hits. if we're on a power play, if I see that we're struggling, we make a big save, and you need the crowd to get the team back in the game, I'm up on my feet. But I also like to just sit there and actually watch the game, because there's people too where at other arenas. This is actually a good example. I think the Mariners game last night, that was obviously crazy, won 18 innings, all that good stuff. But I remember I saw a tweet where a reporter was saying there's Mariners fans who said, we are not sitting down for the whole game because we've had 20 whatever years to sit down. So they've said, I'm going to stand up for this whole game beginning to end. And I don't know, like I don't know if I have that in me, because I just sometimes want to watch the game maybe a little too quietly, maybe a little too tense. I feel like the Leafs fans are emotionally charged, and we don't want to get too excited for a product that hurts us every year. That's a little bit of my counterpoint there. But yeah, it's not ideal. And I will say, when I attended Game 5 of Round 1 last year, Leafs and Bolts, that was an electric crowd. We do show up no matter the price in the playoffs. But yeah, it's you look at the Jays when they make when they are a good team, even the regular season, that crowd is electric. So definitely, I don't want to take away from the fact that Leafs crowd could definitely be louder. But that's just kind of my insight that I have on that issue.
So
Brian, as an outside fan, what do you think about this?
it's expensive. That's what I have to say. I looked at tickets for the Caps Leafs games. It was like, for actual decent seats, it's like $230 or something like that. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but like, I think that's like ridiculously overpriced. I can legitimately fly to Florida and watch a game.
That's what I was going to bring up as well.
Yeah, I can legitimately fly to Florida, watch a Panthers game, and enjoy my vacation, and come back for the same cost of watching one Leafs game. And the Capitals, when they come, they obviously there's a premium, right? Like, you're paying to watch superstars when the Capitals come into town. It's always been like that. I stopped going for like, I don't know, I haven't been to a Leafs game in like 5 years, I want to say. I just don't feel comfortable going to, like, I don't feel comfortable paying that money and seeing that a team that I just don't cheer for and support realistically, right? But what I can say for a fact is that, as someone who does work a corporate job, it is an asset to work for a company that pays for portions of your tickets so that you can use it to bring clients to the game and stuff like that. It's just how it is. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, the job I have pays for 30% of tickets, because it's a write-off for them, and it's also a benefit if you can bring a new client in, right?
I think the moral of the story here is we got to get the corporate guys, okay, the suits. We need to turn them into super fans, okay? So we need to start some type of initiative here where, listen, if the suits are the guys who are buying the tickets, we need to get them into the game. I don't know how we're going to figure that out. Me and Dave, we're going to have to put our brains together here.
We're going to have to start jotting down some ideas, Christian. I think that's going to have to be it.
Realistically, the suits are going to be the guys that are going to be willing to pay the most, right? That's one. Two, they're more focused on the deal they're signing within the next hour than if Matthew scores or not, right? It sucks to say, but don't you guys do that thing where you guys like line up outside the arena? I don't know what it's called. Jurassic Park.
Maple Leaf Square.
Oh,
yeah.
Jurassic Park is for the Raptors. Okay,
you know what I meant,
right, man.
You know what I meant.
That's always been like. That has always been like where. It's free to go down there. Like, there's no cost, so like, anybody can go down there.
Those are the real fans, you know.
For us, I would. And listen, I don't want to blanket everybody in that state, because I was in there, right? Like, I would say I'm a real fan, and there was a lot of people in there who were real fans. And one thing I will say is, to Christian's point, is when when the calls weren't going the Leafs' way, and there was a couple of penalties against, especially like close to the end of the third period, was really when I noticed the crowd start to like get behind the team. There was a lot louder chants coming from the stands and stuff. So to that point, yeah, like, we are a very emotionally tense fan base. And who could blame us, right? Like, listen, the Leafs are constantly the punching bags for a lot of teams in the league. Like, it's always like, oh, but at least we're not the Leafs. Like, at least we made it out of the first round in the past 20 years. Like, we've heard all the jokes, guys. Like, listen, we've stuck through it. So sorry if we are a little bit more tense than other people would be. We're protective. We are very protective of the team.
One more thing before we move on. the game that we played against you guys was the home opener. That was also the first time that you guys heard the goal song for the year. Or not the first time you heard the goal song, because obviously you guys didn't change it. But what do you guys think?
Um, okay, we talked about it last episode as well. I don't hate the song. I don't hate it. But it would have been a good opportunity to change it.
Were you disappointed? Yes or no?
I'll say yeah. I'll say yes, just because I hyped myself up a little bit, like as if I was expecting a change. We had the Austin Matthews quote on Tim and Friends right before training camp, where he's like, "Yeah, we'll see, maybe a little bit of Bieber, this and that." And you know what? He actually didn't lie. He didn't interject or inject some Bieber into the in-game presentation. Our power play song has changed. It used to be a Kanye West song. The title is fading from my brain. It might have been Power.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
That sounds about
chanting.
right.
It
Yeah,
was.
Yep.
yeah. So it used to be that. It is now still. It's not. The song's not called Power. Actually, maybe it is called Power. It's a song with Will.i.am and Justin Bieber,
That's
and it's
Power
just the
too.
line where Will.i.am saying, "I got that power." So it's that's our new power play thing, and not to rehash some more stuff from last episode, but I brought up the idea of intimidation. It's not intimidating. It's less intimidating than Powered by Kanye West, what we have now changed to. So I'm sorry, Austin. I know you wanted to put some Bieber in there. I'm not a fan of the power play change. I know it's such a freaking nitpick, but you're going to get nitpicks from us. So that's what I got to say about songs.
Great
Actually,
song
one
though.
more thing. It is, yeah, no, listen,
The
the
song,
song
it's
itself,
amazing.
good song. I just don't like
Yeah, it's not a
where we're
power play
using it, the
song.
context that we're using it. Shout out to our new anthem singer, Natalie Morris. She's got big shoes to fill from Martina Ortiz Luis, obviously, who is on to bigger, possibly better things. We'll see. Maybe if the Leafs win the cup, maybe she regrets her decision. But, anyways,
No, she
best of luck
jumped
to
ship for a
her.
reason,
And
guys.
yeah, maybe,
I'm
maybe.
playing. I'm playing.
But yeah, shout out to Natalie Morris. I hope she does good things, and I can't wait to hear her in the playoffs. Dave, what do you got to say?
So again, shout out Natalie Morris. I think so. Being live in the building and hearing her, like hearing that like boom, she has a deep set of pipes. It's definitely a bit different to what we were getting from Martina, and I loved Martina's voice. Like that
Yeah.
was like angelic. This one's more deep, mellow. I want to hear a lot more out of her.
Yeah.
Before we start, but that's a different thing. I will get back to You Make My Dreams Come True. So last episode, me and Christian were in agreement. Let's change the song. And I was a big believer about let's change the song. Let's change the song. They score that first goal, that John Tavares power play goal. And me and my brother out of my seats going, "You make my dreams come true." Woo!
I feel like it's a very John Tavares song as well, man. Like I feel like Tavares listens to that in his free time. Honestly, I don't know. I could see it.
Their song.
Yeah.
So Dave, you weren't disappointed when they got the first goal when you heard that song. You were not disappointed.
I mean, listen, I kind of expected. I think if they were going to change it, they were going to do it starting in the preseason. I was, maybe holding out some hope that they change it for the first game, but I'm not surprised that they didn't. Maybe next year's going to be the change. I don't know. I do still think though that there needs to be a change.
It's okay. You guys won't be hearing it much often anyway, especially not in the playoffs. Anyway, I'll let you guys
Should we
talk.
get to the actual game, like to the thing? We could definitely just like kind of now just talk about the actual hockey that was played over the past few nights.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys take over that one. I'll let you guys have free reign.
For sure. Christian, you want to start off?
Yeah, sure.
What did
I'll
you
actually. We've been obviously talking about a little bit of the Caps more. I'll do a little bit of my Caps points. I'll say who I saw stand out for me from you guys, Brian. Hathaway was everywhere. I've liked
Fantastic
Hathaway
player.
honestly since you guys signed him. Like when I think it was like a $1.5 million deal for 4 years or something. It was a weird deal.
Yep.
But I like Hathaway. I think he's a great fourth liner. He's excellent in that role. Very noticeable, even outside of the punching Matthews in the back of the head thing. Like as an actual hockey player on the
He's
ice,
decent.
I do notice him.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one standout guy. Also, Lindgren and net. Obviously, choosing the goalie as a standout player, it's a little bit of a cheat because obviously you're going to see the goalie of every team. But he looks steady. He came in after Kemper had a bit of a stinker, right? But honestly, he held the fort pretty well. So we'll give props to Hathaway and Lindgren there. As far as the Leafs are concerned, we talked about Samsonov. I gotta say, outside of Samsonov's actual ice hockey athletic abilities,
Oh, jeez.
I absolutely love his quotes. I won't say that actually. Let's see how well I memorized it. I think it's "Thank you guys, thank you fans, thank you defense. I am so happy." That's what he had to say after game one. I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan of OG Anunoby on the Raptors. I have an Anunoby jersey, and Samsonov so far he strikes me as our Anunoby in terms of quotes. So love that on that front. Back onto the ice. Fourth line, very noticeable in game two and game three. It wasn't a line that I noticed in game one in that Habs game. They were invisible to me. They're starting to build that identity as a physical forechecking line. Haven't noticed them in any defensive, any defensive breakdown structures where they've been hemmed in our own zone. So that's a good thing. And on the Samsonov front again, comparing him to Murray. Murray's obviously much more of a positional goaltender. Doesn't rely on his athleticism. He needs to be able to telegraph plays, get into position before the puck even gets to the shooter. Samsonov is a bit more reactive, a little bit kind of the same stance and structure to me as Campbell had. A little different. Campbell's not off to as good as a start as Samsonov, but he's a smaller goalie with a lot more athleticism. And it's nice to see that contrast in play style between our two goalies. But shout out to Samsonov for, I'd say, the star of game two there.
Before Dave goes, just quickly say your fourth line for the fans if they don't know.
I'll give you the actual names, then I'll give you the nickname for me. So we got Zach Aston Reese, we've got David Kampf, and then we've got Nick Aube Kubel.
Great
I
fourth
just call
line.
it Zach Aston. I call him Czar. We got Kampf in the middle, and then we got Knack. Czar Kampf Knack. That's my stupid name for the fourth line.
Not so bad. Dave, what do you think?
So the first thing I'll do, like Christian, I'll give some credits over to the Caps. What that line with Hathaway, it was Hathaway, Dowd, and remind me who the third forward on that line is.
It's either Shiri or Johansson.
I think it was Sheary, and because Sheary was playing with them quite a bit during that game. Wow, I noticed all of them. Nick Dowd did get on the score sheet. You know, they had their moments where they were giving the Leafs some fits. So you know what, for what the Caps want to see out of them, I think they're definitely exceeding expectations, and that's definitely a line to roll with going forward, and to definitely keep an eye on if you are a Caps fan. If you're like Brian, reach out to him and talk to him about the Caps because he definitely needs a little bit of love right now.
Oh.
On the Leafs end of things, the two players I personally want to highlight, just because I got to witness one of the crispiest feeds from Alex Kerfoot to Calle Yarncroke.
That was nice. I'll
These
give you
smokes. Listen, Alex Kerfoot has also been a bit of a punchy bag throughout Leafs Nation over the past year or two.
Really, since his arrival, yeah.
He is a player that, you know, can definitely disappear on occasion, and I don't think that's like unfair to say. He'd probably be a person to admit it. He seems like that type of guy. But over the first three games, I think him and Yarncroke especially have looked really, really like they've looked like they're on the same wavelength, and you love to see that from your third line. You know, I think we kind of knew going in that Yarncroke was going to be a good plug-in on that third line. You know, he's had time in Nashville, he's had time in Seattle, both places he's done his fair bit of chipping in on the offense, and he also has that, you know, that grit, and he's able to forecheck. So I think we kind of understood what we were getting, but to see it in person and to start seeing it now, I just hope he can keep up that production. And Sammy, man, like,
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
he no, I mean, listen,
I know. Fair
Brian.
play to him. It just, you know, it kind of like stings a little. You see a player like doing well off the hot start after what could have been with us, and then especially now that he's your number one because, you know, Murray injury. We'll get into that later, but I don't know. I was really hopeful that Samson would do well for us. I mean, I always thought he was going to be the next heir to Holtby, but I guess not, right? I mean, maybe it can be the heir to Jack Campbell.
Yeah,
dare
I
you?
thought he
How dare you?
he looked pretty steady, except for I would say the past two games that he started. I believe it was the second goal against for
Johansson goal.
Washington, the
Yeah.
Johansson goal. That was a tough look, but I think he rebounded pretty well from that going forward. And that's just you love to see it.
Mojo loves scoring
Other
in
than
white against Toronto, huh?
yeah, hilarious,
Yep.
Brian.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Damn, that's a
You're
while
too
ago.
funny.
That was a long time
That was
ago.
in
That was
that was such innocent
2016.
times for us, man. Innocent times.
I
Yeah,
mean,
We
I
were
think
all
we
fresh
covered
faced
everything
kids at
there.
that point.
We were very fresh faced. I actually got to watch. Actually, no, it wasn't that game with Brian. I got to watch game 2 with
the
Brian.
Carlson
This
one
was
where he lost
the
his stick.
captain.
Yep.
No, yeah, that's what everyone remembers. Everyone remembers Carlson losing his stick and not Brian Boyle feeding Kasperi Kapanen from behind
Oh
the net. Yeah,
wow.
everyone remembers Carlson losing his stick. Yeah.
Chef's kiss on
But
that
yeah,
one.
that was great to watch with Brian. I
I was
really
actually
enjoyed watching that
upset,
one with Brian.
genuinely.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
could tell, man. You were surrounded by Leafs fans. There's like 5 Leafs fans and Brian, and we railed into
And
it,
that
man.
was
It was good stuff.
some context on that. That was pre-cup, and that was like in the midst of
Yes,
you guys were
Yep.
like, "Oh, cup or
President's
bust
Trophy
now."
winning
Like,
season, man. Just
wow,
traded for Kevin
yeah.
Shattenkirk. Yeah.
We could have had 3
Yeah.
cups in a row with that team.
Oh my, okay, now you're going.
I'm
You're
not
going
even
off the rails here, Brian.
I'm
Oh
not
my
gonna
God.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
Brian.
But there was a point at which whoever won that second round series between us and Pittsburgh was gonna win the cup.
Yes.
Everybody knew it. Come on.
Yes.
And there's a chance that we won 3. There's a chance that we won 2. There's a chance we win 1. There's a chance we come home with nothing. I'll take 1.
Hey,
I'm
there
not
was
gonna
a
lie.
chance that Pittsburgh.
I would also take one.
I'm not gonna
There
complain.
was
Yeah.
a chance Pittsburgh was going to hit a three-peat on you guys on us on the league, right?
It's
that
true.
was
Yeah.
just they were defending cup champs at that point. So, if ifs and buts, man, yeah. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Ifs and buts.
But,
Do we get anything? We need anything else on the Caps game here? Or
I think we exhausted those points.
I'll
Yeah.
let you guys move on to the, Ottawa and Toronto because I did watch a bit of that.
Yeah, so that was a Saturday night game. As we said, you can catch some Hockey Night in Canada on Fubo moving forward. First Hockey Night in Canada season, Battle of Alberta. I'm going to start with this. Like I said, we were
Ontario?
talking about the broadcast here. What did I say? Alberta?
Alberta. That was a
Well,
good game
that was on as well. But yes, can confirm Toronto and Ottawa are located in Ontario. Therefore, Battle of Ontario. I'm going to start broadcast related again here. Throughout the game, Cuthbert, and I'm not crapping on Cuthbert. Cuthbert's legendary. I love him. But there was lots of mention of the Sens fourth line doing well against the Matthews line. And even during the game, I was like, I don't see it. Just because they're out at the same time and a goal isn't scored doesn't mean that the fourth line of the Sens is dominating the Leafs or something. And the stats back this up after the game. We've got stats here from Jonas Siegel, who just went into the 5-on-5 chances for the Leafs. This is from Jonas Siegel on Twitter. Leafs generated 25 shot attempts, including the game winner, when the Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Michael Bunting line was on the ice tonight. Expected goals were 83%. So whatever the fourth line was doing, keep on doing it, Sens, because, yeah, we obviously caved them in. So a little bit of a cognitive dissonance there between the broadcast and reality. Moving forward, Samsonov, another good game. Once again, I noticed the fourth line a lot.
I cry a little bit. I just want to let you guys know that.
Jake, you might be hearing
You're gonna be hearing it for
Brian. Yeah,
exactly.
Over the next
You
month
get
at
used to
least.
it, man.
Oh, great.
Practice makes perfect. You'll be feeling fine in a month. Don't worry. Yeah, redemption arc starting for Muzzin Hall. Dave mentioned it that Muzzin Hall had good games. A bit of a slow start, but it was nice to see them on the score sheet because that's all gravy if you're getting it from Hall and Muzzin. So good to see that. And 1 point on Ottawa. That first power play chance they had, that might have been off of the phantom call where I don't remember which player it was, but we had a chance right in front of the net, and it was an open net because Forsberg was out of position, and the Ottawa defender just yeeted the puck into the netting, and I think it was on that first power play that I noticed Ottawa can really have a lethal power play this year.
They look
Like the
good,
weapons
man.
on that power play is nuts, and they weren't even running a stacked power play one because I don't think they can. We talked about this. I don't think they can. Not a double negative here, but like their top six is loaded, so you can't really run a loaded PP1 because that's six forwards right there. Shabbat obviously you got to get in on the power play. They were running the split power play. They just have so much offense spread out. I'll say I think they'll be top 10 power play percentage in the league because they look lethal to me, especially on that first power play. The Pinto goal I think was a power play goal, right? So then that was on the PP1 unit there in the slot. So good things from Ottawa there on the Sens front. Dave, what are your thoughts on the Sens game?
Well, I mean, anytime you have a power play that has Claude Giroux on it is definitely going to fare a lot better than those that without him, right? One thing I'll say is kudos to Anton Forsberg, who, if that was any lesser of a goalie that was in net for Ottawa, I don't think the scoring opens with 20 seconds left in the second. I think the Leafs. For the Leafs to score 20 seconds left in the second period because the Sens scored early. He really kept them in it, and he's been a consistent goaltender for them going back to last year. I really like the way that he moves. He looks very poised in the net. It just so happened that, the Leafs firepower just, he couldn't hold out all game. And you brought up that stat, and I did notice it. Chris Cuthbert was saying, he was always bringing up the fourth line came on every time. The possession numbers just from the broadcast. At one point, the Leafs' time on attack and the Leafs' possession in the offensive zone compared to Ottawa, it was almost like the Leafs had double than what the Sens were. Than what the Sens had. I don't know
into
what
the third period. I remember it was like 19 minutes to 12 minutes. Yeah,
exactly right. Like, let's not kid ourselves here, guys. That fourth line was getting caved in, as many other teams' fourth lines would also get caved in that same set of circumstances. Yeah. Right? It just nothing new. Granted, the Leafs weren't capitalizing for whatever reason. There was a couple. There was definitely some block shots, some good opportunities that were missed. Maybe a couple extra passes could have been turned into shots. I know Mitch was kind of getting into that routine again where he had some good looks that was getting thrown over to Bunting or getting thrown over to Matthews. But I still feel like they were getting into good positions. And I think it's just going to, it's going to be a matter of time before that line really starts to light it up again.
From
no worries there.
Yeah. So there's no worries there, especially going up against the Sens fourth line. Like, is that really going to be the thing that we're going to nitpick here? Like, guys, come on, really?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the Senators' fourth line is Austin Watson, Parker Kelly, and
Kastelich, right?
Kastelich, that's who it is. I thought it was Pinto, but I was like, Pinto doesn't play fourth line. He's too good for that.
That is a very makeshift line. That's
But regardless,
those are three created players on NHL, and you can't tell me. Especially Parker Kelly, guys. Like, come on, who is that?
It's like when you're 5 drafts into your franchise mode and you get players who just have like the same first name, last name. Like there's I think this might actually be an actual guy's name. There's like an Ivan. That's an actual player, but
Ivan, baby. That's my that's my boy, the juniors champion.
The shadow guy from Belarus. Ivan.
Yeah. Okay.
And anyway,
glad we nailed that.
Anyway, we're moving on to the next topic we have, which is more Samsonov talk. He will be in the number 1 considering Matt Murray is injured. How do you guys feel about that?
Dave, you want to give me some thoughts first here, or?
All right. So for everybody who's been living under a rock now over the past 24 or whenever you hear this, so Matt Murray's injured again. It's a groin strain, I believe. So he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. It's looking like his first and he was placed on LTIR which would mean that he's out for a minimum of 10 games. His next game that he could be eligible to return off of LTIR would be November 8th versus the Golden Knights. So maybe
That's a
around
long
that
time,
time
actually.
we'll keep our eyes open.
Yeah,
Well, it's about 3 weeks from now, right, Brian?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
another stat was this is his seventh time on the IR in the past 5 years, and he has only been in the league for 6 years. So
I
you
didn't know
know,
that.
it's kind of just
Yeah, he won the cup as a
the
rookie,
way
or not even a rookie, like before he even registered as a rookie, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about
20
it.
20 was it
2016,
2015 or
16.
2016,
Yep,
right?
I know that one by heart. Don't worry.
So listen,
Anyway, continue with
are
the Murray.
we going to sit here and be fully surprised that we weren't going to have to deal with some of this injury issues? I didn't expect it was going to take only a game, but very unfortunate. Again, it happened in practice. I believe he was going down for a shot. He came up and was in immediate discomfort. That's what I believe I read on Twitter by verified sources. So I know it's a big loss, and thank goodness that Samsonov has kind of already he stepped in for that game against Ottawa, which was obviously going to be a Matt Murray start. It would have been his return against his old team. And I'm thankful that Samsonov has kind of taken it in stride, or else if that game against Ottawa went anywhere different to what actually happened, we're having a very, very different conversation today than over the past 45 minutes, I would say. So I don't know, Christian, what have you got on it?
On the Samsonov front, Brian, I got a question for you. Let's see how well your trivia is on the Caps last season. How many games did Samsonov play last season?
I'm gonna say like 36.
44. So he played the majority of games for the Caps last year. So that's all I got. Like he'll be fine. He played 44 games last year. In terms of a workload, this should be okay. So I'm not worried on the Samsonov front in terms of him actually playing the games. Performance is another thing. I'm not going to say he's the greatest goaltender in the world based off of 2 games where he let in leaky goals in each of the game, but otherwise was good. And then our backup moving in is Eric Shalgren, who had probably about a dozen games of the Leafs last year in injury relief as well, and he's kind of the perfect third goaltender. And I don't really have problems with him as a backup. I was pleasantly surprised with him last year outside of that debacle in Florida where I think it was Radko Gudas scored like outside the blue line, and he did the good old "I'm injured, coach. You got to take me out." But I think most of the Leafs Nation felt that he was rattled and he pulled himself from the game. But outside of that, he was good. So honestly, I'm not going to be too worried about the goaltending. Obviously, further injury issues will definitely be super, super concerning, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Samsonov Shalgren sounds okay in the temporary future, and hopefully Murray gets back fully healthy and mentally ready to give this another go because, yeah, we don't want another Mrazek situation on our hands where Mrazek showed flashes later in the season. It was like right before the Heritage Classic that we were like, oh, Mrazek's kind of good. And then he had a stinker in the Heritage Classic, but we never knew if Mrazek was good or not because the guy didn't play, right? And I don't want that to happen with Murray here. I want us to have a definitive answer. I want himself to have an answer if he can resurrect his career. And in order to get that answer, he's got to play actual games. So hopefully this is the end of his IR stints in the past 5 years. Let's keep it at 7. And yeah, hopefully we don't have to deal with number 8 in the same season.
Best of luck to Matt Murray, and obviously best of luck to Sammy over there. What we're gonna do is
I thought you were going to say Eric Shalgren.
Oh no. Well, best of luck to Shalgren too. I mean, if he has to play, I mean, he has to play.
I
But
didn't think you wanted to give Samsonov good luck, but anyways.
like I said, I want him to do well. It hurts, and I know VTech's gonna do well over New Jersey too. Just a matter of time before they take our playoff spot. But no, I definitely wish the
I
best
don't
for
know
his
I'll
about
team.
bring
that
something up. Yeah, I'll bring something up later on that front.
one.
But what I'm gonna do is I am gonna put us on intermission for the next little bit because of the fact that we are reaching an hour. Let us take a quick water break, a quick washing break. I gotta go. So, yeah, just give us. If you're watching the VOD, obviously it's only gonna be like 5 seconds. Just give us some time. Be right back. All right, guys, we are back. I just got back from the washroom. The boys got back from drinking their water, drinking their coffee, whatever they had to do. So we were just talking about the Matt Murray injury, correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Matt Murray injury, and now we're gonna move on to another injury. I think we're gonna go into Patrik Laine's injury. Sorry, guys. I know we were supposed to talk about Sanheim, but it was just an easier transition for me.
Yeah.
Basically, what we have here is that he's out for 3 to 4 weeks, and but he was point per game last year. What do you guys think that's gonna have an impact on his season this year? The injury, obviously.
Obviously, going to have an impact because he's missing a month of time here. It's really just my main takeaway is I just feel bad. I want to see Laine get back into that tier of the top scorer, top lethal threats, just snipers in the NHL because I think he's got that type of potential, especially with a good row now. I know he's not off to the best start. CBJ in general isn't off to the best start. And that is a little surprising for me. I thought they would come out with a bit of energy considering all the new pieces. So, yeah, my main takeaway is it's just a tough break. And hopefully he can come back at least on time. And yeah, I want to see him succeed this year.
So on the Laine front, it's also not the first time in his Columbus career that he suffered a long-term injury. If you guys remember last year, he was out 2 months with an oblique strain. So I hope he doesn't start going down the path of other superstar players. Top of my mind is an Eric Lindros who later in his career really started to suffer due to injury issues. This one, I don't know if we mentioned it before, but it's an elbow strain is what they were calling it. So listen, thankfully it's nothing like to do with more serious areas like a head injury.
It did not look pretty. If you guys saw the clip, it did not look
definitely
good.
didn't. Yeah.
Honestly, to me, like I thought it was like a pretty innocuous play. Like I thought he just kind of went in the boards and he just grabbed his elbow. Am I like misremembering the play? Like I thought it looked.
It looked
Like,
bad,
it
man.
didn't
Like
look.
from
Yeah,
what I saw, it was like, wow, that must hurt.
I
Like
must have not had the right angle then. Yeah.
but anyway, what I was gonna say, like for Laine is like, guys, this guy is comparable with Ovechkin when he was first drafted, and he just has not lived up to it. Do you guys remember when he first like started the season? He was getting like 35, 40 goals, like nothing, and then
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember the last time he scored 30. Genuinely, I don't remember.
2018, 2019, 30
That's
goals.
that's 3 years ago. That's a while
That's
for
very
30.
surprising to me. Yes. Yeah. No, that's surprising. But it's like we said now, it's not necessarily the point per or the goal per game pace, it's just the health, right?
Yeah.
Like he'd have hit 30, I'd assume the past 2 years probably if he played 82, no? Like
Well, last year he had
I don't
a
actually have the stats in
So
front of me, but
0.45. I think off the top of my head it was like 0.45,
point
0.47
four
ish.
point four five would have got him over. Those would have got him
Yeah.
over 30. It would have been like a
he
35 goal scorer.
he hit 26 and 56
Yep.
last year.
My math's
So
right.
Pretty
Yep.
good.
definitely 82 game. They played 82 games last year, right? It wasn't shortened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, especially with a guy like Laine who has also been known to go through long droughts. I remember during Winnipeg there was that one season where it was 1 month he scored 18 goals, I believe, which broke a
I
record
remember
or
that.
tied a record for most goals in a
Yeah.
month. And then the rest of the year, it was like I don't even think he hit like
It's like a
that
one goal in
number.
20 games or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like long stretches. So and for Laine, one thing I do want to mention is an elbow injury for a shooter definitely isn't an ideal situation. No injury is an ideal situation for him,
For
but I
him
think
specifically.
for a player that's based prime, like his main tool is his lethal shot. That's a real tough one to take in.
Hopefully he does recover. Hopefully he gets back to his elite shooting ways. I want to see 35 from him this year. It may or may not happen based on this injury, which kind of sucks. But regardless, let's move into the next topic, which is actually the Travis Sanheim contract signing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I honestly, when I first saw it, I didn't realize how good the numbers are on Sanheim.
He's good, man.
We all know our favorite Twitter account there, Jay Fresh, where he's got his player cards that we all love because they make it nice and simple for us non analytically inclined folks, where we just say, "Oh, red means good, blue means bad. Oh, lots of red. That guy's pretty good." So I'm not gonna pretend that I watch Flyers games all the time. Although I will say, Flyers are the team I would cheer for in the Metro most years. Like I'm obviously a huge Leafs fans, but my divisional teams are Flyers. I would cheer for the Canucks in the Pacific, and I would cheer for the Blues in the Central. Those are kind of my non-Leafs teams. Anyways, I'm not a Flyers fan. I don't watch Sanheim every night. So I will say the numbers surprised me there. And you got to also consider that these are great advanced underlying numbers on the Flyers, who have been
Terrible.
abysmal last year, not too hot the year before, and not expected to do anything crazy this year. Although I think they're off to a 2-0 start. So, and it's at a pretty palatable number. I think, is it 6.25 by 8? Is that what it is?
Yep, the
6.25
exact
Yeah,
by
same contract as Mackenzie
Uyghur,
Weegar.
and that's the comparable.
when you put it like that, I have no qualms with it. You give Uyghur maybe is Sanheim a right shot by chance? If we know, I feel like he's a left.
He is
Okay,
left-sided, I believe. Yeah.
so I'm gonna give the nod. I'll give the nod to Uyghur just for the right shot value that we know is prevalent in the NHL because there's not as many of them. But fair contract, good contract for the Flyers, which is nice for a change. That's good to see.
I think
Yeah,
that.
so like Christian.
Oh,
Oh,
you go
sorry.
first. You go
Sorry,
first.
sorry.
I think.
So like Christian, I
Go first. Go first. Go
Brian.
first. Sorry.
Cut the podcast here. That's it. That was our last episode. We'll see you next year.
Show's
Farewell,
over, guys. Dave, go.
um, fuck, you made me lose my train of thought. So like Christian, I did have a glimpse at those at that J Fresh stat card. I believe it was a 9, so he was in the 97th percentile overall, like amongst all
Defenders.
active defensemen, which really surprised me because I we always knew that Sanheim, like Provorov and Sanheim have always been, you know, over the past few years, especially, have been those steady presences on the Philly D line. But knowing that as well as he's playing with noted, not very analytically inclined darling over there, Rasmus Ristolainen.
My God.
I've heard that I've seen some Flyer fans talk. I was doing a little bit of research, and they've been really impressed with both of their games so far. Only 2 games into the season. Let's not forget that. So, maybe Sanheim is the type of guy to carry the weight of guys that aren't as great defensively. Somebody like Rasmus Ristolainen. Let's not paint it any other way. Rasmus Ristolainen is not a great defenseman. He has his tools, and he's definitely there for a reason, but it's definitely not on defense. But at 6.25 for Sanheim, he is 4 years younger than Mackenzie Weegar at only 25 years old.
I did not know that either.
Yes.
That contract takes him until he's
30,
just
33, 34.
30.
That's
For
that's
Sanheim?
very well done.
Yep.
I think even less. I think he's 32 by the time that contract expires. So that's prime defenseman, prime time of
He
his
got his
career.
best years. Yeah.
I think this contract is amazing. Like amazing. It might be one of the best in the league in a couple of years. Genuinely.
I think it's going to grow as well too. And we mentioned the last episode on the Mackenzie Weegar talk. With the cap going up now, it's expected to go up exponentially over the next few years. That cap hit is going to be even more palatable for a team like Philadelphia, who's in cap hell already. But having him at 6.25 is definitely going to be one to help them a lot for sure.
And let's be clear, like 6.25 is a good number in the current salary cap climate. And they
100%.
like you said, it becomes a bargain when the cap goes up. So it's not like we're projecting the future here where we need the cap to go up in order for the contract to be good. It's already good and it's going to get better. So definitely and not so common dub for Chuck Fletcher, I'll have to say.
I think that this contract is going to be one of the best in the league in a few years. One is cap's going up. I rate Sanheim really, really highly. I think he's a fantastic team, man. He also plays on a garbage team, like ridiculously bad team. And if he looks this good playing on a bad team, imagine if he played on a good team. That's no support from his line mates. I mean, Ristline is out right now, but I'm looking at the team right now. He's either playing with D'Angelo or Justin Braun. Not too great of a partner.
Justin Braun was actually underratedly good last year. Like he was a guy I wanted for the Leafs. But aside from that, before this contract, like I was thinking to myself, when I hear the name Travis Sanheim, what number do I assign to him as a defenseman?
7.
Like 7? No. Okay, not in that sense, because like a 1 through 6. I mean, is he a number 1 D? Yeah, imagine if he was a number 7. Oh boy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like money wise, like 7
mil. No. Yeah.
No, he's number 2 guy. He's a top 2 demon on any team.
See, for me, I had him at like 3. Like in my mind,
4. 3 or 4.
There you go. So it's kind of like the Mattias Samuelsson contract. I won't get too deep into it too, that we saw last week as well. I think it was the day after our last episode. And that isn't in the 6 mil range, but I think it's like 4.25 for 8 years. But same idea where before that contract came out, you ask people who Mattias Samuelsson were, forget about the number they would assign to him. They'd say, what sport does he play? Is he a soccer player? Or like people didn't know who Mattias Samuelsson was, I don't think. Played 50
that guy could have started
20 minutes a night.
That guy could have started for Ajax this year.
There you go, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the Dutch league.
Yeah, so obviously different circumstances here. People knew who Sanheim was, but at least for me, as a Brian, the Caps are in the Metro, so I think you've got a bit more of an understanding here, right? Yeah, exactly. But
he's silky,
man. Yeah, it kind of crept up
good.
on me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more attention there now.
The thing is, like, he gets overshadowed by Provorov. That's the main thing, and he also plays on a garbage team. But I genuinely think he's very, very good. This contract's going to be looking like the Morgan Riley contract, like, in a few years. I can guarantee you that. I'm that confident in that.
The Morgan Riley current
No. When he was making like $2 million or whatever. When Morgan Riley
it was 5 mil.
Okay.
It was like 5. I think it was
what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it's going to be an even better deal than that. It's going to look like he's making like 2.5, 3 right now. Then I'm telling you, he's that good, and hopefully the Flyers get better so that he can make a bigger name for himself. But if this contract takes him till he's 33, chef's kiss. Chuck Fletcher, well done. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. Let me see what I got for you guys. It's about the reverse retros, actually. Obviously, the reverse retros are coming out in next month or November. Sorry.
I think it's supposed to be the end of this month, honestly. Once again, prime NHL, not marketing crap. Like why are these jerseys not a thing already? Like, they should already
chill.
Should have
been announced.
I'm just saying.
Part of the regular
guys,
season,
chill.
Another nitpick.
If you
listen, if the NHL wants to hire me on team or any three of us, we definitely do a lot better job than whatever they have right now.
Chill. Because if you are looking to buy an NHL Reverse Retro in the next 2 months, make sure you use our link. Well done, guys. Thank you for that.
Excuse me. Let me specify that the NHLshop.ca's marketing team is fantastic, and that I will be purchasing an NHL shop jersey.
Yeah. Go to the NHLshop.com. It's the NHL Department of Marketing, whatever they want to call themselves, the so-called Department of Marketing, because I haven't seen anything of it from it. All we're getting is leaks and potential. Like, I don't want that. I want concrete information here, guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's unfair to say. We're not going at the NHLshop.com, which you could definitely find in the link below with using our affiliate links. Pro marketing right there. Man.
Okay, I'm going to save us. What's your dream reverse retro? Go.
Okay, so we're going to keep it Leafs related, obviously. And the the quote unquote leaks and rumors are actually in my favor, at least for a dream jersey, because the suspected reverse retro is based off of the '06 Toronto Maple Leafs home alternate jerseys, which everyone knows for the blue shoulder yokes, the very furry leaf. You got two stripes on your arms as well as the abdomen. I think everyone looks fondly on those jerseys. My one qualm with those jerseys is the logo, the furry leaf there, because what drives me up the walls, as you can tell, like I mentioned the chin strap in episode 1, that leaf there, the word Toronto is not centered. It's not centered on the leaf. It bothers me to hell and back. So give me that jersey, but give me our current logo, which is my favorite logo. That's why I have it on a hat and not that furry leaf. If you give me that, I will. That's a dream come true. In the words of Hall & Oates. Dave, what do you got?
Christian, I think we're in total agreement here, man. You know, what I wanted to see last year was what we're talking about right now, right? That is what we wanted to see. I listen. I'll commend whoever designed it. You know, it takes a lot, but why are we putting gray on a Leaf jersey? I just, oh my God. And the blue that they used, and it just, everything about it was just not great.
It looked like a Walmart jersey.
It really did. It did look like that. Listen, I have some fond memories for as much as, you know, especially the going into like the end of that was like the Sundin era. Those were like my primitive hockey, you know, that's what I remember as a kid growing up. There's some fond memories there with those we'll call them the Sundin Tucker look right there, right? That's who pops off in my head when I see those things, when I see those jerseys. Man, I think I've said it before, I've got $200 in my pocket right now waiting for those things to drop. I'll be first in line, Christian, if you want to come with me and you first.
I'll be second, buddy.
Real Sports, we'll be there. One thing I'll say though, moving off the Leafs, is I did see a leak for the Montreal jersey, and it's going to be using. Hopefully, they'll be using Expos color. I love that.
No,
I absolutely.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Brian. You're out of your mind if
you're out of your.
I'm excited.
Right
I'm excited.
Oh, okay.
The Expos became the Nationals. If you guys didn't know, so I'm a big Expos guy.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of Expos.
Yeah.
Stuff. Anyway, really, they're coming out with Expos colors like Hab stuff. That's interesting. I'm listening.
Well, I don't know.
It's the light blue, right? It's gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be really nice.
I love it too. I love the cross promotional marketing. You know, between like a former. Did we have any? I know we had callbacks with the last retros. I don't think there was a cross sport callback though. I think this might be the first. Off the top of my head, I don't think that there was any. I know that we had the Nordiques look with the Avalanche last year, last iteration of the reverse retros.
Yeah,
that might be about it, and that was same sport. So you know what? I'm in full agreement. Montreal absolutely sewered their first attempt.
I loved it. Bro,
oh, wow. Dude, those things were.
We'll have this argument off the podcast, but man, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of them. I thought they could have done a lot better, especially for a team with a lot of heritage like them. And I think now, including the Expos, it's not just team history, but you're bringing city history. Hashtag bring back the Expos, everybody. Let's get that team out of Tampa Bay right now. Let's bring them back up to Montreal. That's all I'll say about that. We're not discussing that further. Don't care about logistics. Bring them back. You know, from what I saw from concepts, I think that'll be a big success for them. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna bring out.
I want a White House jersey. I want a black screaming eagle. I could also go for a Hartford Whalers, but I want the whale, like not the W. You know, I want like
big whale.
I want the big whale on a nice shirt. I think I'd buy one. as much as I'd hate to own a Hurricanes shirt in my wardrobe, it'd be nice to have. Like, just I love the logo. And then
Well, the Canes had what? I think they had a gray version for their original Reverse Retro, which was gray is not the look. We already know that across multiple teams, but they did. I think they did the green primary Whalers ones maybe the year before the first Reverse Retro. But like you said, that would be nice. Either green primary or blue primary with the whale would be nice. Yeah,
I love that whale,
Mhm.
guys. I think that's
yeah.
up there with Kachina, like genuinely of best logos in the league, or like best former
I
logos or
have
whatever.
I have one question before if we want to get on to another topic after this, but how are we feeling on Captain Highliner on the New York Islanders jerseys? Like, are we in favor of bringing back Captain Highliner?
No,
I don't know Brian, if you know, you
no,
don't like Captain
I do
Highliner?
not. I do not.
Oh man,
I'm not
I
opposed
think,
to it, but I don't think what they're
dude,
gonna do, what the leak shows, doesn't look like they're doing it well. I don't think. Not
I
an
just want to see
agreement, eh?
Captain
Okay.
Highliner. I want to see Captain Highliner back again. I think like that era that would have been like the '90s era. If we go back to like
Yeah.
all the jerseys in that era,
Oh my
there was
God.
something quirky and there was just something like about them that just gave them so much like
That's
more life, whether it was cheesy or not. Bring back Captain Highliner as well. That's another. Plant my flag on it too. I planted my flag on the Islanders already. We're planting our flag on Captain Highliner as well. Let's
that
go.
that
Might as
whole
well, go all in.
that whole brand needs to rebrand. Like, I'm saying that nicely. Like, the whole, like, and I'm saying that as a team I'm saying that as a guy who supports a team with a word logo. Like, the Islanders
You,
logo
you
is
know
not show up.
my favorite Islanders jersey is the alternate that they wore when they made the first. I know they actually got out of the first round against the Panthers. It was that alternate
The black one.
where it's just the NY, not the black one. Hate the black one. It's blue and orange, white as well, but it's got the NY. It's just the NY. It's not
Sure.
your circular crest.
Yeah.
Tavares wore it a lot as an alt
I know what
in
you're talking
probably
about.
He
like
won it
Yeah.
in one.
yeah,
Yeah. Won
yeah,
a series.
exactly.
Called series on
I
that.
like that jersey. Yeah,
Those things were vibrant, I have to say.
yeah, yeah.
I just, it's like, from my perspective, man, the Rangers just kill the Islanders in terms of like branding, design, shirts, like, even on the
You just
ice.
said you don't like word marks though, and the Rangers' whole thing is their freaking
No,
word
I
mark,
know,
man.
but like, man, like the Rangers, like the word mark, like the diagonal when it says Rangers down the side, so classic. When Pittsburgh did it, I was jealous. I can't even lie. I'm a sucker for that. I don't know why.
Honestly, I'm not big on the word mark. Dave, are you
Really,
a big word mark guy for hockey
I'll be
jerseys?
honest with you. I like those the historical, like the Rangers have had it for so long where it's kind of just
It's their
ingrained
identity.
now in the hockey culture. And I think they pull it off the best. I know
Yeah,
it's gonna sound very a lot of people, if Pittsburgh fans, Penguins fans, I think the Rangers do it and did it better than the Pens.
I
Personally, I
agree.
just think that the white, red, and blue just translates a lot better than the black and gold. But
What
I don't know. I'm
one
not a design expert
what
here either. So
one more thing. The Senators whites look so good. Like, with that, with like, I don't know, it's just so nice. It's got to be up there with the best looking jerseys up there. I know it's not a reverse retro. They're going to be wearing it all season when they're away, obviously. But I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the new logo last season. And man, it looks good on the whites this year.
yeah, I like their kits. That rebrand was definitely
Fantastic.
needed, and they nailed it. I like them. I like both the home and away. Both pretty good.
Assuming they're successful, like, in history going forward in the next like 10 years or whatever, that's what we're going to remember. Like, they're going to look good doing it too. And good for them. They definitely
Hmm.
needed a shake up after what that org's been through. But anyway, reverse retros. Hopefully they come out soon. Like I said, if they do come out, make sure to use our link when you're buying jerseys, because it'd be nice to get a little bit of support here and there. Anyway, we're gonna go into our next topic, which is Christian's point. Christian said that he had a stat or something that he wanted to talk to us about. Fire away, my friend.
It's a not so advanced stat, and I've actually got it's a 2-in-1 here. You're getting a buy one get two. Okay, so our stat here, our not so advanced stat, is simply a number. The number is 19. And the number 19 represents how many times the Bruins have beat the Coyotes in a row right now. They
Oh,
have beat the Coyotes 19 times in a row. That's why I was curious about what you knew about the Caps versus Bruins streak there that was going on. I don't think it probably didn't even rival this. Like 19 games in a row? Are you kidding me? That's that. So that's the first half. The other half is 19 is how many points Connor Bedard has in 10 games to start his season. 9 goals, 10 assists. Guy is on fire. And it actually relates to the Coyotes there because you know that right? The
oh,
Coyotes are
Dave.
going to finish in last, right? So
I
congrats to the
mean, listen,
Coyotes on Bedard.
that pick is starting to age like yogurt you left out in the sun for weeks already. I'll still stake my claim. I'm still here for the Yotes. Gonna see day Christian. You know that they're coming to town. Austin Matthews' hometown team. One thing I'll say back to them is they better get up for that game against the Yotes because I do not want to see a repeat of last year at home.
Veggie milk,
You
man.
the Vegna game,
Yeah.
man. You know,
19 times
yeah,
in a row, man.
the
That's
Yeah,
Yotes.
like
Wow.
man.
that's demoralizing. You walk into TD and then like you just know you're gonna be going home with a loss.
It's not even TV,
Or
man.
they or they
It's when the
walk
Bruins
into
are in Arizona. Yeah.
And how many
they
years has
walk
that
into
gone on
your
for?
barn and it's
Bec- because like it's
I
it's
don't
got to be
have
at least
that.
8 years.
That's you got to remember, Brian. The name of the segment now is not so advanced stats. So I don't have that advanced stuff, man. I just have you. I just gave you the number 19. Okay, that's it.
That's got to be 8 years at least. Because considering we lost
at,
COVID,
at
like
the very least.
You're right. Yeah.
that's brutal,
I
man.
believe it would be 9 years because they wouldn't have played in the COVID
2020.
lockout year, and they might have not even played those last 10 games of the regular season. I'm not too. Listen. I'm not going to go back and look at things here. So this could even be 10 years in the running now
Pretty
too.
nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
That's got to be up there with like some of the longest like losing streaks like of all time. I don't know any of
The
them off the top
top
of my
one
head.
that comes to mind for me is there was the Flames at Anaheim. It was
Oh yeah,
only in Anaheim, but it was some stupid streak. Like I don't remember what it was. I think they ended it last year, maybe the year before, but that's the only one that comes to mind for me.
in terms of just home games, the one we had was against Dallas. We couldn't beat them in their own building, or something like that for a couple of years. But I
So
don't know the
weird,
exact
eh?
number.
Like just random matchups. Like what
Yeah,
the hell?
Well,
but
I know for a long time it was the Leafs and the Habs, right? There was that
Yeah,
stretch
yeah.
there. I think it was like 10 years where maybe it was we couldn't beat the Habs in the Bell Center, something like that. But it was like a
Probably
stretch there
that.
of 10 years. It was like, and those are some dark days for the Leafs as well. So it's kind of like
you guys play them
expected
like
too.
6 times a
So
year. You guys really?
yeah, that was
That's a
another
th-
This
thing
is
too.
before the
It was
Matthews
really bad.
era. This is before
Oh,
the
okay.
Matthews era. Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
prime Grabowski era.
That's my
Clark
guy.
MacArthur.
I love
Those
me
guys.
some Grabowski. Okay, we're gonna go off the rails here. You don't want me talking about Corbinian Holzer, man. Okay, let's move on. Let's
Garnet
move on.
So
XLB.
so this is
Yeah.
so this is
Go,
actually
Brian. Go.
this is our last topic for the night. It's actually a fun one. So as you guys know, not sponsored, not affiliated, not partnered in any way. Tim Hortons, they got hockey
Yes.
cards. We each got a couple packs ourselves, and Christian has one, we have two, David and I. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna open them up, see what we get, and in the last pack David and I open, and Christian's only pack, we're gonna see what we can get, and we're gonna total up the points for the week and see who wins. Our little mini game, I guess. There won't be a forfeit, there won't be a loss, but definitely fun to open up some hockey cards on stream or on VOD.
I just realized we're gonna need like some photo evidence from Brian after this, man.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I'll say-
how do I
yeah.
know
Yeah,
he's
100%.
gonna open his pack? Whoa! I got a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. What?
I guess I'll be the one doing some ASMR over here to start off.
Let's do it.
If I'm able to, I might just have to get some scissors.
We'll
I'll
go
be
with
honest with you.
David.
I know this is
We'll-
sacrilegious. I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys,
geez, you gotta
but
cut the card.
Desperate
no,
times
we're
call for
good, we're good.
desperate
But
measures.
we'll go David and I to our chalk pack first,
Yes.
and then Christian
Yeah.
starts up his real pack, and then we'll see.
Okay.
So first card,
Austin
I'll
Matthews.
pull up on screen. Big Papa
Bruh.
Leon,
Oh, that's
Oh,
a good
the
pull, man.
the
that
the
would have been
German
nice for the next
destroyer
pack.
there. German destroyer there. We got a former captain, so this actually might go for a little bit more because they have Blake Wheeler with the captaincy on. Tims, you might want to turn around and reprint some of these now. And I listen. I'm not gonna be. I'll be the first one to claim. I'm not too sure what like cards and stuff like this isn't my forte, but this card looks really nice. Superstar Matt Kachuk. So this
Oh,
not
that's
even
a
on the
nice
same
card.
team. This is Calgary Flames Matt Kachuk. So this, might actually be worth maybe a couple dollars instead of 50 cents.
Does it
So,
Maybe
you
two,
know,
$3, you know.
does it
oh yeah, hey, that's a copy right there.
does it say Flames anywhere on the card besides his logo on the shirt?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah. It's
wow,
at the bottom there.
exclusive.
And it's also got the logo on the back as well.
Okay. I'm gonna open up my
So
chalk
I'm
pack
gonna
now,
keep that one
and I'll send you
aside.
guys a photo after. I'm gonna open it properly because I'm not scared. So what do we got here? What do we got here? I got Eric Carlson, the normal card. I got
Okay.
Anthony Duclair, which is kind of an L. I'm not gonna lie. And I got this special Cole Caulfield hockey triumphs. Caulfield sets up Matthew Perreault for a score, for scoring a win or something like that.
I think Pearl had like a hat trick. Maybe it was that game.
Yeah, when they won
Could have been.
6-1 against the Red Wings on October 23rd, 2021. Okay, that's a pretty.
I think he did have a hat trick, or at least 2 goals.
Yeah,
All right,
something
Christian,
like that. Okay.
open up these
These,
cards.
these are the ones that matter now. So
Yes.
yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do here is gonna be 3 cards, obviously 3 players, and we're just gonna total up who we pick from these packs and see whose players get the most points. So I'm already opening this pack, and I hate it. It's a great start. Wow. Okay. So first card. Brian already loves the pack though. John Carlson.
Yes,
So
what a great
we
player.
got we got Jason Robertson, Nick Robertson, who's been called up to the Leafs. Hopefully he scores some goals. But now I'm also going to be cheering for his brother for a week. Not too shabby. And then, wow, they really did this to me. They did this to me, man.
Marchand?
He's injured. He's not even playing, man. And it's Marchand. But yeah, that's my pack.
Man,
Okay.
man.
I'm down tough. I'm down real tough.
All right, Dave, you want to
Dave,
go? Or
you
you want
want
me
to
to
go
go?
ahead? Actually, Brian, you go. We'll get Dave to go last because he's got a camera. We can
Beautiful.
tease
Okay.
a bit more.
Oh, speaking of cameras, I'll be on camera next week. I ordered a webcam finally.
Face
Hashtag
reveal.
reveal.
Face reveal.
Face reveal.
I'm no dream,
wait.
but you know,
You have
close
to,
second, I
you have to
guess.
come on the camera with only your right side of your face. Okay.
Okay, so I got David's cousin. Andrew, Andrew Mangiapane.
I don't. Is this a real? Like, is he actually? Or like, Dave? You know how there was this joke? Like, there was a
it's like
Petrangelo
all
joke where
Italians
everyone
are
was like,
thing.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
is it? Okay.
It's close. Okay, so I will say it's closer to that than like me and him getting together at a family wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's legit.
Yeah, it's something down the line. Like, you know how Italians are, Christian.
Yeah.
We got cousins. I have cousins in New York. Like, you know what I mean? So
no, because the joke
one of
is
those.
like for people who aren't Italian, like there was a joke going around online for like basically the whole time Petrangelo was in St. Louis. They're like, that's my cousin. It would just be Alex Petrangelo. Like somehow everyone knew Petrangelo. It's just a funny little meme. I didn't know if Dave and Brian were just repeating it, but no, it's real. Yeah,
that's like the Woodbridge Italian, like Vaughan, Ontario, the biggest congregation, statistically the biggest congregation of Italians not in
Guys,
Italy.
Guys,
so
that's incredible.
My Mangiapane is a misprint. It's off
Why
centered.
would
Your what?
It's off centered. This might actually be worth something because I know misprint cards.
Which one is it?
It's the Mangiapane,
Yeah,
but
Brian.
it's misprinted. Like the card.
I don't know if these
shipped.
are like Pokemon cards, man. Like you
Okay,
might
yeah.
get another 50 cents off of it.
Yeah.
The thing about the Tim's packs,
that's a
like,
honey curler you just earned yourself.
the things about the Tim's pack is think about like how much they produce, right?
That's
like
true.
It's literally the whole freaking country. So these cards don't get value off of rarity. outside of there are rare inserts in these packs where it's like a one like 3,000 of this one card is printed. So if you get that, now you're talking. I have one from last year. It's a Brady Tkachuk jersey card, which just got a piece of his jersey inserted in the. I should have showed it, but I think like the value is like maybe $40, so it's nothing crazy. But there are some. I don't know what this is, but in the past it's been like Sidney Crosby autographed card, like crazy stuff. I'm sure they have it again this year. Probably McKinnon too. So those are where the big value cards are.
I
But
know.
yeah,
I know for a fact if a Pokemon card is misprinted, it's worth like hundreds of dollars.
I don't think even as a kid, I don't think I ever had a misprint. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah. But Magipani is not obviously not a misprint Pokemon. He's also probably not David's cousin. But that's one. Number two is your captain, Mr. John Tavares, and
Nice.
number three
Okay.
is the better idiot, better than Magipane, Patrik Laine.
Oh, I thought you were
pretty
saying
good.
William Nylander.
No,
Ah, man, yeah.
no, it's a hockey triumphs though. It's the same like branding, like the collection from my Cole Caulfield card.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Dave, finish
That's a
up.
pretty good pack.
I'll take
All
it.
right. I am also writing them down like in my doc, and well, like we could have just said it to each other, but like I'll keep a record on my doc as well,
Sounds good.
of what you guys have. So sorry to all the audio listeners that, come to the YouTube channel, to see these things. Like, listen, if you're listening on Spotify right now, just,
Spotify is
get
video,
off
bro.
of Spotify. I don't know if we uploaded it with video, but it might have. But I don't know. All right, first pull. Let me just pull up my camera. We got Gino, baby,
Oh,
big. You give me Malkin. All right, so that's
Not
number
too
one.
shabby.
Christian, me and you are going to be looking at the same player this week. Jason
Hey,
Robertson,
okay.
Nick
Okay.
Robertson's older brother,
Older
that's an
brother.
underrated pull, guys. That's
and
No, it's a good pull. Yeah.
yeah.
my last pull is a special Hockey Triumphs Brady Tkachuk. He got this
Okay, the
for.
aforementioned.
Did you get both
He
Kachucks
nodded
in?
the score. Yeah,
What
yeah,
does
I
it
did.
say?
I did. I have. He notched. Oh my god. He notched the tying goal against the Sharks as they were playing in San Jose, and he got the tying goal in last year. So
Not
Great
bad, not
moment.
bad.
Great moment.
pretty cool looking
Very
card.
memorable. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys.
Shout out
I expect to
Brady.
win because I have Patrik Laine and John Tavares. I'll be honest with you guys. Christian's
Yeah,
half.
I'm expecting to be in last.
Considering half your guys are.
My team is on LTIR, man.
You can maybe use the cap space, Christian. Get some LTIR.
Buy
I get to
another.
open another pack now, right? I can pick someone up off of waiver.
No,
Why
you know
not?
what it is. Now you get a chocolate glazed donut from Tim's because of that. That's what you.
That's the compensation, eh? Okay, I'll
Yeah,
take it.
yeah.
I'll take it.
Regardless,
Not bad.
regardless, I think we're gonna end it here. It's a good place to end it. That was some good laughs, and now we have something to look forward for next week. Anyway, I'll let you guys close off first because I always do it.
All the same stuff as usual. Check out Dave on TikTok. Okay, that's the biggest thing.
Check out our
Hockey Night in Canada on Fubo. What are you saying, Dave?
It's not just me. It's a group TikTok. It's all of us as a brand.
Dave's
Okay.
the star. Okay. Yeah, you guys can do the rest of the plugs.
Anyway, I'll finish it up. Thank you guys again for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've done very well recently with the past few episodes. We hope to be more consistent with everything and keep the train moving. Obviously, Hockey Night in Canada is going to be on Fubo TV. Please check that out. Keep up with us on all of the socials. If you're going to shop at Razor or NHL Shop, make sure to use our codes. It would mean a lot for us. And if you have anything to say, any feedback, anything like that, feel free to reach out, leave us a comment. Also, download our phone app. I worked really hard on that, and it'd be nice to get some more downloads. Anyway, take care. Thank you again for listening to this beautiful podcast. And yeah, I ended at that.
Base reveal next episode. Let's go.
Face reveal.